Sita laid her head on Rama's shoulder, and Rama carried her to the bed they had made for him. Sumantra relaxed and lay on his back, looking up at all the stars of heaven through the trees. Then he was asleep, and Guha's people covered him with blankets. Guha leaned back against the tree and looked at Lakshmana. "Prince, do not worry about the future or try to outguess fortune," said Guha, "for it is hard enough to know what one is doing at the moment. It is surely very hard for us to judge things." Lakshmana answered, "But certainly my father did wrong." "Who told you that? This banishment will kill your father. It is simply time for him to die." When the sky started to get light, Rama woke. He stroked Sita's hair and woke her. He walked over to Guha and said, "Hunter chief, we will cross Ganga, fast washing to the sea." Sumantra came and said, "I'll leave the chariot and come with you." Rama touched his right hand lightly on Sumantra's shoulder. "Turn back to Dasaratha. Do not be sad, for pain and pleasure must come in their turns to all men. Cheer my father, guard and protect him. Tell him Lakshmana and Rama and Sita are well. They have no grief. After these 14 short years, you will soon see them return." Guha's men brought out a raft of logs and took the three across the Ganga. Then Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita were all alone in the forest, far away from the smiling fields and gardens of men. 2 days later, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana reached Chitrakuta hill, standing alone and towering above them, engarlanded by flowering woods thick with flowers of every color. Chitrakuta was like the garden of the gods. Clear rivers and little streams flowed down from him in graceful braids. Ducks were afloat in the streams, and herons stood among waving lotus flowers near the banks. Blackbirds sang to the sun, timid deer grazed in meadows, and tigers and lions who had never seen men watched the newcomers through the leaves. Near a cave by a clear mountain spring, Lakshmana built a strong house framed with long bamboos and floored with grass, with walls of woven wood and a roof of leaves. Rama said, "How did you learn to build so well and do all this for us?" It was twilight, and the trees stood motionless. Rama and Sita were asleep in their house. They had no farther to go. The sky slowly turned above, and Lakshmana watched the midnight gradually pass away. That same evening, Sumantra drove up to Ayodhya's walls at dusk. He drove to the palace and found King Dasaratha lying in Queen Kausalya's unlit bedroom, fanned by Kausalya and tended by Queen Sumitra. Sumitra rose and looked at Sumantra. She said, "The king is blind." "Lord," Sumitra said in a low voice, "Charioteer, listen. As your chariot sped away, the king went to the city gate and watched unmoving in the direction you had taken. Again he cried for you to wait. He looked down at the straight wheel tracks beginning to be blown away by a doleful wind and said, 'The last trace of my son that I will ever see.'" Sumantra, his tears soaked the ground. "We came to this room. He stumbled and fell onto that bed, and lay not moving for half the night with his eyes shut. And when he opened them at midnight, he could not see." Sumantra advanced to the king. "I salute you, Majesty. Will you not speak to Rama's envoy?" Dasaratha whispered, Where is he?" Sumantra answered, "I left them in solitude walking alone in the forest. As I crossed back through Kosala, I saw that in all your kingdom the trees let fall their leaves and have no flowers, no scented fruit. The ponds are desolate, the streams are dry. Where there had been gardens, lean birds were drooping in the leafless trees. The air has no freshness. No creature moves or speaks. All vitality is now lost and gone away." The old king tried to rise. He trembled. "Charioteer, if I have ever done any good thing, drive me to Rama." "I cannot," said Sumantra. "I don't know where he is." They left Dasarata alone with Queen Kausalya. He slept uneasily for a short time, but soon awakened. Kausalya still held his hand and said, "I am here." Dasarata said, "In my sleep I have remembered what I did long ago to cause all this misfortune. When by accident or fate I killed an old man's only son. Gentle woman, as a man's deeds are good or evil, so are the events which follow them and which the man must face in their time. Asleep just now, I have met truth. I tremble." Two fires of grief, past and present, had dried away the life of the Ayodhya king. When that night was some time past, he all unnoticed breathed no more. So did he die, the far-famed King Dasarata, a warrior with no enemies alive. Driving their chariot garnished by gold by the fiery light of sunrise, Bharata and Satrughna saw Ayodhya and slowed their mountain horses. They stopped. There was not a sound from the still city. "Do you remember," said Bharata, "in the early morning standing here we could always smell the scent of winds and the air would carry faint perfumes?" Satrughna frowned. "Our great father, the sun, now rises, but no one sings." They drove into Ayodhya. Their chariot wheels growled low and moaned as they passed through the victory gate, once guarded like the gateway into heaven. No guard stood there. Bharata said, "Dread of what awaits me hides in my heart and will not go." They entered the palace and Satrughna went to find Rama. Bending his head, Bharata walked slowly to his mother Kakayi. He knelt and held her feet, then stood and asked her, "But where is my father?" Kakayi said, "My son, every marriage must end in sorrow unless both man and wife die together. He lives no longer. He has died." Bharata took ashes from an incense dish and rubbed them on his brow. He said, "How hard to bear. What did Dasarata say when you last saw him?" He said, "Who will see Rama again?" Bharata stood grave as the ocean and still as the sky. His eyes burned like red gleams of hell's light. "Where is Rama?" "Your father disinherited Rama so that you could take this kingdom. He banished him and died from the grief of parting." "Why? Whom did Rama wrong?" "No one." "Why are you not delighted?" said Kakayi. "I used my two wishes. Ayodhya is yours. You are the king." "How hateful," Bharat ran from the room. He ran to Queen Kausalya and knelt before her. Mother, I did not know. I don't want to rule others. I don't want possessions. I know nothing. Enough. You are innocent. Kausalya laid her hand on his head. No one blames you. Bharata said, in my youth, time's true nature was hidden from me. But now I see all his harmful ways. I'll never forgive what my mother has done. He turned to the family preceptor. Vashishta, how will my mother be born in future lives? She will never understand, never know the true, said Vashishta. She will doubt life while facing the sun. She will be a mad beggar eating dirt from a skull. She will be a miser living alone, then robbed by thieves. She will betray friends and dash the hopes of poor men. In this very life she will not live to see Rama return. All this will be her lot, unless you forgive her, Bharata. Bharata said, I forgive. Vashishta said, compassion is great enough where it can have no effect. Used to accomplish something, it is supreme. When the mourning for Dasarat was ended, Bharata told the charioteer Sumantra, only the son firstborn may be king. I will go and take Rama's place in the forest. Sumantra first asked the elephant god Ganesh, remove the obstacles, smooth our way. Then he drove Bharata out of the city into the forest, the wide road to Rama. Guided by Guha, Bharata and Sumantra made their way towards beautiful Chitrakuta hill. Bharata saw white smoke in the air ahead of him. Bark garments were hanging out to dry on the branches of a tree. By a marked path were stacks of firewood. Bharata walked into a clearing on the mountainside and saw Rama standing by his house, dressed in black deerskin. Bharata approached and knelt before Rama. Rama bent over and raised him. What is it? Why have you come here? Our father who enjoyed all the world is dead. We have no king. Return to Ayodhya. I will replace you here. Rama said, it is not for me to do the work of others. I must do what I said I would do. Bharata said, come home. I decline the possession of the Kosala kingdom. Men lose their sense as their death approaches. Blind rules are wrong, Rama. Men are born for joy. Rama said, the first betrayal may be easy, or it may be hard. But after the first betrayal, then others soon follow. The heart, Bharata. Keep note of your heart and don't stifle it. There lives the soul, clear, never stained, watching all we do. So let a man be still and find his heart. That is the only safe rescue. Bharata said, O Rama, kingdoms wash over you, but you are calm. You know the mysterious soul and the life where he swims. Give me your sandals. Rama took off his wooden-soled sandals. Bharat took them. Rama, you are the true king. I will rule Kosala in trust for you for 14 years, and your sandals will be on the throne. If I do not see you on the first day after those 14 years, I'll walk into a fire and die. Then Bharata retraced his steps. In Kosala he put Rama's sandals on the red and gold Ayodhya throne. Bharata and Satrughna put on barcloth and sat at the foot of the throne. Every day the ministers and noblemen came, dressed all in bark like hermits, and bowed to the sandals as to a king. Rama's shoes lay quiet if justice was done before the throne, but if any case was wrongly judged, the sandals swiftly beat together their loud wooden soles. One morning, soon after Bharata had come and gone, Rama and Sita and Lakshmana set out south into the forests, towards the Vindhya hills. Lakshmana found many places to build a home. They would live in one place for 3 months or 8 months or a year and then would move on. They did this until 13 years of Rama's exile had passed away. It was almost the 14th summer when Rama and Sita and Lakshmana crossed over the Vindhya hills and began to walk down the southern slopes. One evening, after walking far, they entered a large grove of trees. There was wood smoke on the air, and Rama said, "We are coming to the home of Agastya. We have met wood dwellers before, but there is no one like Agastya. North lives Lord Shiva, north are the Himalaya hills and Mount Meru, the center of the world, and Agastya alone, by living here in the south, keeps earth from tipping over." Agastya greeted them and said, "Sit and eat supper with me." He served Rama and Lakshmana and Sita a supper of edible flowers and bulbs that left them with no slightest thought of hunger. When they had eaten, Agastya said, "Rama, let me see your bow." Rama held out to him the bow he had brought from Ayodhya to use in the forest. Agastya glanced at it and set it aside. He said, "It is flawed because the man who made it was at that time engaged in an affair with another man's wife, and his mind was ill at ease." Agastya brought out a long bow and a covered quiver and gave Rama the bow. That bow was backed with diamonds and curving gold plates. Its belly was smooth and painted with colors like Indra's bow of rain. It was covered with gold on its tips, and its bowstring was unbreakable. Then Agastya opened the quiver and took out from it 2 arrows made from long grass stalks and veined with vulture feathers, one bladed with brass and the other with silver. He gave the silver one to Lakshmana and the brass one to Rama. Agastya said, "I found these things in the forest. I think they have fallen from heaven, perhaps during the confusion of Ravana's attack many years ago. This bow will bear the weight of those weapons Vishwamitra taught you. The blades of these arrows have never needed to be polished or sharpened, and I think they may be infallible, shot by the right person." In the morning, Agastya led Rama out onto a spur of the mountains, high on a hillside looking south. Below them, the thirsty, dry jungles of Dandaka forest reached out to the south as far as they could see. "We are far from Lanka," said Agastya. "At the edge of Dandaka is the frontier of the Rakshasa kingdom on earth. Dandaka knows no master but Ravana. Whoever goes down there must be himself his own protection." Agastya embraced Rama and said, "Rama, demons do not love men. Therefore men must love each other." Rama and Sita and Lakshmana went downhill into Dandaka. The air was wavy and hot. There was a hot wind, and shreds of bark fallen to the forest floor rustled as the sun got hotter. All Dandaka was creaking in the heat, warning away men. The wind blew in gusts, and they heard screams from the lines of dead, whistling canes bent down in the wind. Dandaka stretched before them, fearsome and wild and wide. Past stumps and trunks, Lakshmana led them on into the hair-raising wilderness. and Dandaka grew deeper and denser, and vultures sat on bare branches. Then at noon they saw the 84,000 little Valakilya saints of the wood. They were people smaller than a thumbnail, floating in the air, looking like motes of dust in the sun. They spoke to Rama and said, "O child, it is a sadness to live here. Rakshasas prowl for flesh by night. They overshadow the darkness as though they would crush the mountains down. We have seen mountains of bones from the victims they have slaughtered. White bones, Rama. Free this ancient forest and deliver us from the night wanderers." Rama answered the little saints, "I have strayed from the Dharma of warriors if this has happened while I was near you." The Valakilyas said, "O Rama, like the moon, the Rakshasas cannot bear you. We are peaceful, but we think war is better than fear, if you will fight it for us." Rama and Sita and Lakshmana left the Valakilyas, and Sita said, "We are now forest people. Do not carry war with you. I have heard that Lord Indra, when he envies the merit won by an ascetic, will take on the guise of a warrior and go into the forest and leave his sword with the hermit for safekeeping and go away. So the ascetic will keep by him a sword sharpened only to kill men. Then he will begin to carry it with him. Then he will one day draw it. He will kill." Rama said, "Princess, war is within us. It's nothing outside. While he may, a warrior like other men enjoys peace. But misfortune and peril make him flare up in anger and resist." Rama and Sita and Lakshmana kept going south through Dandaka forest until they reached the Godavari river. Lakshmana built them a house near the river in a place called Panchavati, not far from a hillside cave. One morning, soon after they had arrived, they were sitting out in the open near the house when out from the forest came the Rakshashi Surpanaka, Ravana's sister. Surpanaka was misshapen and mean. She had a pot belly and ears like flat baskets, claws on her fingers and toes, squinty eyes and messy hair. She saw Rama and desired him. She was gnawing a raw bone, but she threw it away and leered at Rama. She pointed at Sita and said, "Why keep that skinny girl?" Rama stood up and said, "I am Rama." "And I am Surpanaka. I have chosen you for my husband." Rama smiled at her. "But you see, I'm already married. To a proud woman like yourself, a co-wife is misery. Don't think more about it." Surpanaka cried, "I see the trouble." She rushed at Sita and held out before her claws curved like elephant hooves. But Lakshmana caught her. He took the gold-handled knife from his belt and he swiftly cut off Surpanaka's ears. Surpanaka ran away bleeding and fled to the Rakshasa garrison commanded by General Kara. She flung up her arms and fell at Kara's feet, wailing, "I've been attacked!" "Sound the alarm!" Kara shouted. A Rakshasa soldier smashed a big hanging brass plate with a metal mace. Kara yelled at Surpanaka, "Where are they?" She yelled back, "Panchavati!" The Rakshasa garrison assembled 14,000 strong. Kara stood before them and said, "Like death, let us kill the 3 humans and please this lady." In Panchavati, Rama's arrows started to smoke. Rama said, "Lakshmana, we have sharply angered them. Hide with Sita in that cave and cover the mouth with trees." Rama stood alone, glancing up into the sky. His lips shook with anger and his eyes were red with blood. The Rakshasas came, flying low just above the trees. When they saw just one man facing them, they hesitated. Rama called out, "Stop if you value your lives." Kara looked around, saw no one else but Rama, and waved his arm. The invincible legion of Dandaka attacked. Rama killed them all, 14,000 Rakshasa warriors and General Kara. His golden arrows swept the sky like yellow lightnings. There was no escape. Shurpanakha was watching at a safe distance. She dove into the earth and flew by Rakshasa power through the solid stone right under the southern ocean. She surfaced in Ravana's palace and ran up the stairs to the throne. Her heirs were gone. The court of the demon king fell silent from shock, and Ravana rose and cried, "Who dares?" Shurpanakha said, "Kara is dead." "What?" cried Ravana. "And all his soldiers." Ravana beckoned with his 10 left hands. Rakshasa physicians hurried forward and restored Shurpanakha's ears. Ravana beckoned her to sit down and said, "Now tell me." "I am the only one still alive," said Shurpanakha. "Dandaka is bathed in blood." Ravana's eyes danced in his head like fiery coals. "Who did it?" "Rama." "Who is Rama?" "A prince." "A man?" Ravana looked closely at his sister. "How many millions were in his army?" "He had no army." "What gods helped him?" "No gods. He fought alone. Rama looks like a hermit, but it's only to destroy you that he has come. And here you sit, lost in pleasure. You're not going to do anything, are you?" "Enough!" roared Ravana. "Who cares what mere men do? Dandaka is a worse wasteland than the back of the moon. There's nothing worth having there anyway." Shurpanakha said, "You don't know Rama. You'll let the best bowman in the world live on your land with his brother and his fair wife, Sita?" "Sita?" "Whomever she embraces will outgain the gods in happiness. She is more beautiful than any of your wives. Her skin is gold, her eyes are dark, her breasts are full, her waist is slender as an ant's." "Sita?" Demon King dismissed his court and retired alone to his rooms. Early the next morning, Ravana went alone to his stables. He got on a small gold chariot pulled by asses with the faces of fiends. The chariot rose into the air, and Ravana flew north, across the vast ocean. Ravana's uncle Maricha, who Rama had shot but not killed while defending Vishwamitra's sacrifice, sat alone in a clearing. Ravana's chariot came soaring down and landed. The Demon King walked over to his uncle and said, "How good to see you, my old friend." "Why are you here?" asked Maricha. Ravana said, "The Dandaka demons have all been killed by—" "Stop!" Maricha looked around. "Ravana, do not speak that name in my hearing. Fear of him has made me a hermit." "Then you know about it?" said Ravana. "I saw Kara's legion die by magic sight." "I won't let him get away with it," said Ravana. "His dear-loving Sita is in the very bloom of her passionate youth." Maricha looked at Ravana as though he saw him already dead. "Innocent Sita? What enemy disguised as your friend mentioned Sita's name to you?" "Shurpanakha. They attacked her unprovoked." "No," said Maricha. "Her heart envies you your fortune. She will ruin you by your own hand." "I will steal Sita by deception, and he will die of shame." "Give this idea away, Ravana. This greed will draw you swiftly to your doom." Ravana smiled. "I don't listen to criticisms anymore. Just tell me the good parts." Come, delay defeats any deed. Change yourself into a golden deer and help me. You lure Rama away out of earshot. I'll do the rest." "No," Ravana yelled, "then I'll kill you. Don't you fear death?" "Why should I? But still, Ravana, it is better to be killed by the better person. I will lead him away and let him kill me." Maricha sadly tidied up his few old possessions and quickly performed his own funeral. Then they were on Ravana's chariot going through the sky to Panchavati. Ravana landed the chariot some distance from Rama's house. He crept up close to the house, leading Maricha by the hand. Ravana said, "There they are." Maricha became a deer. His face was of living blue sapphire, like a moving mask made of a blue mirror. His antlers were ivory-tipped with moonstone points, and his hooves were glassy black flint. His lighted eyes were violet amethyst. There were silver spots on his sides, and when he danced like a deer, his golden hair ran the light in rays over his body. The other deer scented a rakshasa and fled from Maricha as he approached Rama's house. The tigers drew back and did not dare to roar. Maricha ran past Rama's house, then stopped and turned and lay down, nibbling leaves. Sita saw the deer. She called, "Rama, come quickly. Can you catch him?" Lakshmana came up and said, "There is no such deer on earth. That is an illusion." Rama strung his bow and took one arrow. "Wait here with Sita. I'll try to get him alive." Lakshmana said, "See how his shape seems to shift and change around the edges?" "I'll be careful," said Rama. "If that is a Rakshasa illusion, I'll destroy it." Then Maricha went away, running and jumping. Rama went after him. Maricha tempted Rama farther and farther from home, and Rama began to lose sight of him. The golden deer reappeared, and Rama saw him through the stark trees of Dandaka. Rama shot a gold arrow and hit the lovely deer through his heart. Maricha leapt up high as a palm tree, then fell on his back, and at the point of death resumed his true form. A black demon lay there dying. Rama ran up holding his diamond and rainbow bow. With his last breath, Maricha shouted in Rama's voice, "Help me!" He threw back his head and died. Maricha's cry was much louder than any man could shout. Rama knew they would hear it at Panchavati, but could not hear him from where he stood. Every hair on Rama's body was on end. He ran for home as fast as he could. Sita heard Rama's voice cry help and said, "Lakshman, he's hurt." "That is not truly his voice," said Lakshmana. "That deer was a demon, don't you understand?" Sita wept. "Would you let him die? Oh, you don't care, you don't care." She looked wildly around, then started to go after Rama herself. Lakshmana held her back. She pleaded, "Let me go, Rama." Lakshmana held her and looked her right in the eye. He sighed and frowned. She was breathing fast. She said, "Then is it me you want? Take me, but save Rama." Lakshmana covered his ears. Real anger was on his face. He saw red Sita, red trees, red sky. "First you sent Rama away to fetch you an illusion," he said. "Now you order me to obey a false voice. Don't move." Lakshmana looked out into the forest. He drew a circle around Sita on the ground with the tip of his bow. "Do not step out of this circle and do not cross this line," said Lakshmana. "Let these trees witness that I have done right." Sita was paying no attention. Lakshmana thrust out his lower lip in anger. He took his quiver, entered the edge of the forest, and was out of sight. The Rakshasa king watched him go. Then Ravana came boldly across the clearing toward Rama's house, covered with the disguise of an old holy man. He came and stood silently by Sita's house as holy men do when begging their daily food. Sita stepped over Lakshmana's line and said, "Worshipful Brahmana, be our guest." Ravana spoke very fierce. "How do you come to live here alone, my girl, in perilous Dandaka land?" "I am Sita. Don't fear demons, for my husband Rama will be back soon. Tell me your name and family." Ravana said, "I am the Rakshasa king Ravana. I rule the universe. Come to me, Sita. I will take you to Lanka, and I will put you over all my other queens." "A firefly courting the sun?" Sita laughed. "Never!" She looked toward the quiet forest but could see no one. "Woman, I am Ravana, feared by the gods." Ravana clapped his hands, and his disguise fell away. He was tall as a tree. He had 10 dark faces and 20 dark arms and 20 red eyes, red-rimmed like fire. Ravana shook his heads and rattled his crowns and looked down at Sita. "I will have you!" Ravana bent down, a black mountain come to life. Sita knelt near his feet, hiding her face, clinging to a tree. Ravana lifted her, and his demon chariot came to meet him through the air. Sita cried, "Rama, Rama," and struggled to get free, but it was useless. Ravana was on the chariot holding Sita like a fireball in his bare arms, and the chariot began to move south. Then Sita saw a great huge vulture asleep high in a treetop and cried to him, "Tell Rama!" The vulture awoke. He raised his neck and looked hard after Ravana's passing chariot with round green eyes. Swiftly he spread his wings and overtook the demon car. He softly spoke to Ravana, "Brother Ten Necks, I am Jatayu, the vulture king. Do not harm Sita. Free her or die, for not in safety will you carry her from my land." Ravana kept on going. Jatayu hooked a talon through Ravana's chariot rail, a claw as long and curved as an elephant's tusk. Jatayu tore the rail away, and on the wind of his wings he gently lifted Sita out of Ravana's hands and set her down unharmed beneath a tree. Ravana cried out in shock and rage. He turned the chariot to attack and flew at the vulture king. Jatayu clawed the armor from Ravana's back. With his wings he struck Ravana down and sent him falling. In blind fury, Jatayu ripped the asses that drew the chariot to shreds. He shattered the car with one wing stroke, and the golden chariot wheels spun through the sky like two suns. The old war king Jatayu screeched in triumph. Ravana lay on the earth, faint and bewildered, streaming blood and only armed with a sword still at his waist. But Jatayu was exhausted. His vision faded and blurred, and he could not see. Ravana saw his blindness and rose to attack. Jatayu struck him by sound. Jatayu hooked his talons into Ravana's back, and with his mouth wrenched off Ravana's 10 left arms, one by one. All Ravana's faces trembled in pain, but those 10 arms grew right back. Jatayu could not see them and thought they were destroyed for good. Ravana drew his sword with one left hand, and he cut off Jatayu's wings with it. The vulture king fell dying, and Sita ran to him where he lay and held his head and wept over him. Ravana roughly tore her away with bloody hands. He flew south with her very fast, as though driven through the sky before an evil wind. Ravana carried Sita south across a dark river. Looking down, she saw 2 monkeys standing on a hill by a lake watching them, shading their eyes, one gold monkey and one white one. Sita reached down her hands and broke the anklets off from her legs and let them fall. She took off her earrings and dropped them. She tied Guha's necklace in her yellow scarf edged with gold and dropped it also. Ravana did not notice. He sped away, and Sita's hair streamed out on the wind. The two monkeys watched, with their yellow-brown eyes never blinking. Ravana brought Sita to his palace in the city of Lanka. He said, "You will not see Rama again. Here you have no husband, so there can be nothing wrong in our love." "To hell with you," said Sita. "You took me like a thief and barely made it past an old vulture." "Quiet!" Ravana screamed at her. Then at once he composed himself. "My dear, capture is a good way to get a wife. I will wait for you to love me. Come inside with me, change your clothes, and rest." "I won't enter your kennel." "Damn you!" Ravana summoned his Rakshashis. "Imprison her in the grove of tall Ashoka trees behind my room and guard her day and night." The demoness took each of Sita's arms and led her away. Then the demon king called after Sita, "When winter begins and the sun turns north, if you haven't come into my bed, I'll eat you minced for breakfast." In his high heaven, Lord Brahma summoned Indra and said, "Sita must not die in Lanka." Lord Indra waited until night. Then, taking the goddess Sleep for his companion, he approached Lanka, carrying a bowl of heavenly wheat and butter. Sleep spread out her arms over Lanka. The Rakshashis guarding Sita fell asleep. Indra entered the Ashoka grove and touched Sita lightly so she awoke. "I am Indra, the Lord of Heaven. Good fortune to you, my lady. I bring you food. Eat this, and never will you hunger or thirst for a year." Sita took a little wheat and dropped it to earth. "Whether Rama lives or has died, let this nourish him." Then she ate. Indra said, "Sita, you haven't on your body any sign of widowhood. Rama will rescue you. Those monkeys will tell him that they saw you." "And Jatayu?" "By the gods," said Indra, "Jatayu has had a place in heaven for 1,000 lifetimes, but he won't use it. He won't be born anything but a bird, and he loves earth. Again and again he gives his life for what's right, never once wondering should he do it or not, nor reflecting will it do any good, nor would it be better to live to fight another time. Ah, Sita, I think Jatayu is very wise." Sita smiled at Indra. The Lord of Gods touched his hands, knelt before Sita, and returned to heaven. In Dandaka forest, Rama, running for home, met Lakshmana running towards him and shouted, "Go back!" They ran home together. They found their house empty, and they looked everywhere for Sita. Lakshmana carefully examined all around their home. He found a huge footprint. The highest branches of many trees were broken. Some deer came and looked at Lakshmana, then jumped and ran south, looking up at the sky and back at the house and at the earth, and they were making little sounds. Lakshmana went to Rama and said, "She was taken in an aerial car to some place south from here.